You did what? Why are you wearing shoes on the mat?
Bubbles.
Oh my goodness.
They're my slippers.
What a great start. Hello, welcome to another week. Another episode of A BJJ Marriage, episode number 10.
Welcome.
We're running into, which is awesome.
You know, it looks like it's way more on your side. Are you giving yourself all the camera angles?
No.
I don't believe you.
I centered it.
Okay.
Okay, the middle of the phone is over here. The camera is in the middle of both of us.
Alright. Whatever you say, hubby.
I know you love me so much.
Yep. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
I didn't ask you. I was asking them. I want them to reflect on
Okay.
their week.
Yeah, put in your comments out of 1 to 10 how your jiu-jitsu week was for you.
It's Sunday morning. Just sitting here drinking coffee, reflecting on our week.
Yes.
We had some Fur Mama
Cheers.
and Fur Papa cups today because we're at home instead of at the gym today. I know Austin always likes to see what kind of coffee cup we're drinking out of. He's told me that.
Yeah.
Every time I watch, I like to see what cup you're using this time. And I was like, well, it's mostly the Vegas cups, but switched it up for you today, Austin.
Uh-huh. And she told me I only wear white Ghees on the podcast for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I was planning on wearing my original Ghee today, which I love. You can see my knee patches that still have holes everywhere.
This is your first Ghee, right?
This is my first Ghee. And I just
First
ordered
Ghee
my
ever.
5th Ghee.
Wow. That took you a while. Yeah, we just bought Ghees yesterday.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Just on Amazon. Nothing super exciting, but
It's
salable.
exciting.
I got a gray one. He got a blue one? Kind of like this color blue.
Like this colored blue.
No, it's not navy. It's like a
Oh yeah, it's a brighter blue.
it's like this color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traditional blue.
Mhm.
Which is exciting.
He said he wanted a blue for what? IBJJF in the future.
No, I don't know. I just didn't have a blue Ghee at all.
Yeah, he only had black and white. He's boring.
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting a bright hot pink one, but I decided against it.
Why?
Because I wanted the gray one first. I want, like, the ones that I actually will wear most of the time first, and then when I have too
True.
many, then I'll start rainbowing it up.
I wanted to get the NASA Ghee.
Yeah, the orange one. It
Bright
looked
orange.
like Dragon Ball Z.
No, there's actually a Dragon Ball Z
But it
Ghee.
looked like Dragon Ball Z.
No, it had the NASA patch.
It looked like Dragon Ball Z.
It was awesome.
He would have looked like an anime character, but I guess that goes really well with you being Chinese.
That's racist. Insert GIF of kid. That's racist.
Nick is very Chinese, in case you guys didn't know.
I am. My grandparents came from China and had my dad in Milwaukee. And they were a traditional Milwaukee laundromat Chinese family.
Mm-hmm. His dad looks like Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid.
Karate Kid?
Karate, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like Mr. Miyagi. He also looks like Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah. Look it up, I swear. If you were to see a picture of either one of those two, you'll see Nick's dad.
Yes, it's very uncanny
He's
how
cute.
much he looks like them.
He's such a cutie pie.
Yes.
I love his dad.
He's great.
But,
You know, my dad did teach me a lot as a young child about what to do to be good at sports and competing. Because we used to go practice all the time. I used to play baseball in Little League when I was smaller. And he would always tell me to be consistent. And that's something that I brought into my jiu-jitsu life, which brings a huge amount of consistency to my training and the techniques I do. It's always the same when I'm drilling it.
You would never say you're too consistent.
What is that supposed to mean?
That you don't give yourself a break ever.
What is a break? I don't understand.
That's the problem,
The
I think.
concept. Hmm.
But anyway, so
I don't feel like I need a break.
No. We're done. We're done with that conversation now. It's an argument I don't think I'll win, so we just stop talking about it. I tell him he needs to calm down. He says he doesn't think he needs to. My dogs are running around upstairs. But okay. Anyway, vlogging. How was your week? How was your jiu-jitsu week?
My jiu-jitsu week was super fun. I got jiu-jitsu.
Hi, G-jits.
You do what?
Isn't that how Josh always puts it out on the food logo? Like, I-G...
It's D.
D-Ju-jits. That's what it is. I don't have the fancy logo above our heads, but it's pretend.
Jiu-Jitsu. Right there.
Yep. Anyway.
Yeah. My week, though, was very good. I did some hard rolling in the earlier set of the week. The earlier days of the week. And at the end of the week, I was burnt out and did lots of drilling. Because I was training very hard because we got a competition coming up next week, Saturday, in the Dells.
Yeah.
Which is super exciting.
6 days from now.
Yep, and I wanted to lose weight, and I wanted to drill, get some hard rolls in, and then give myself like a week of healing for my body to be
100% for Saturday.
To be ready to smash. Just kidding, I'll see.
And then you did lose all the weight that you needed to. You were down to like 168, 169, and you
I lost
used to be
too much
under
weight.
170. And so we went yesterday and we got teriyaki madness and we had noodles for lunch and then we got Oscar's custard and then today he was like, I'm 175 again. We gotta eat healthy this week again.
I don't think it'll stick.
Dang, I just really wanted ice cream yesterday. It was so good.
That was delicious.
We hadn't had ice cream in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, because I've been gradually losing weight instead of trying to lose like 7 pounds in one day.
Yeah. The way we've been doing it for competition diet is about 3 weeks, between 2 and 4 weeks, I would say, is when we start like really hunkering down and putting our healthy meals into plan and eating what we call as competition diet.
Yep.
And this time we started about 2 months in advance because we're like, well, why stress out and try to lose, like you said, 7-8 pounds
in
right
like 3
before
weeks.
competition? And then that's just, I mean, if you guys have a set way that you eat right now, imagine having to completely flip the script and go completely 100% like organic and healthy and all that stuff that you need for the nutrients.
Lower portions.
Yeah, it's a big dramatic change.
If
So
you try to do it for like only 2 weeks.
right. So we figured if we started early and went gradual with it, then it wouldn't be so devastating to not have cookies in the house because that was really bad for me. I think for
But not having cookies or having cookies?
no, not having cookies in the house. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm an addict to sugar. I know a lot of people are, but like, oh my goodness, we always bought those cookies with like the frosting and the sprinkles on top,
Oh
like
my God,
the ones
they're
that
so
people
good.
hate that they say taste like cardboard. Well, we can't get enough of them. They're in the house every single week. Like, I go grocery shopping, I buy a pack of cookies.
It's our dessert.
Yeah. There's only 10 in there, so 5 each, and throughout 7 days, that's less than a cookie a day. Like, I don't feel like it's that bad, but that is our, like, that's what we eat for dessert. That's what we have for our sweets. That's what I'm so addicted to. So, man, like 7 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, that first week, not having those cookies in this house, I was going ballistic. Like, I was reading through cabinets. I'm like, where's candy? Where is this? I think I ate a candy cane that was in our Christmas box because I wanted sugar so bad.
And it's March.
Yeah, it's March. So I went digging for that candy cane. But I just really wanted sugar. And I remember we were talking to someone in the family, and he was just like, yeah, you know, you're really addicted to sugar for a while, and then the first week it's the worst because you just think about it all the time, and you, like you said, you raid your cabinets, and you just go through everything trying to find something to help your
addiction.
Yeah, I didn't want to call it that, but yeah. And then he said the second week it's still there, but it gets a little bit better, and then by the third week you're just over it. You don't think about those cookies anymore. And honestly, like, we had the ice cream yesterday that was the first time we really had like sugar in 6 weeks, and I was just like, this is good, but this is not nearly as satisfying as it used to be.
It was satisfying.
Was it?
Yes.
No, me, I just was like, man, I'm not gonna
I think you weren't hungry.
I wasn't hungry.
You were just eating it because you wanted to eat it.
I really wanted a peanut butter cup sundae
It's
from
different
Oscar's.
when you're hungry versus when you're not.
Yeah, I would agree. But
Yeah.
basically, it's been a long time without sugar, and now I don't crave it as much anymore. So
I'm still hungry. I'm in a cycle of being just a little bit less hungry than I was for the last like couple weeks.
yeah, we've been portioning him now, and he's been eating like basically no carbs for a while. We've been adding a little bit of carbs here and there, like quinoa and brown rice
Yeah,
and
every now
stuff,
and then.
but it's not like we're eating pasta with dinner every night like we used to. And it's, like I said, just gradual changes, trying to figure out a way to incorporate a healthier diet without a complete 180 and then raiding through your cabinets to find a freaking candy cane.
Yeah, but I did lose too much weight because I didn't want to be like 168 and then continue to eat healthy like this and then weigh in competition at like 165. That would be just way too small for me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
Remember when you said, I could fight at 155? I could do it.
I could get there. This is proof that I could get there.
I don't care. You're not allowed.
If I needed to.
No.
If I wanted to, I could.
Nope.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Did you see McGregor at 145?
Yeah, and he looked disgusting.
He looked ripped.
I don't know about that. He looked unhealthy. He did not look good at 145. You would not look good at 155. You look great at 170.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
even with my mustache?
yeah, I mean, I think that was a great intro to get into our topic today about competition mindset and everything leading up to a competition. I know that most of you who have been watching us since the beginning, so all 10 episodes, our very first episode was about competition because that's when I was getting ready for mine that injured me, and I've been injured since. But we were getting ready for my competition, or I think it was the day after even, or something around those lines. And now we're here to do it again, 10 weeks later, 10 weeks more of experience, now getting ready for him, and kind of guiding you through what we do to prepare on our end.
Yes.
And what maybe you should do if you're thinking about competing.
Yeah, a good way to attack it. So there's lots of people that compete like every weekend. Not lots of people. There's some people that compete, just travel and compete. And those people are on a whole other level.
Yeah.
And we're more for like the hobbyist competitors. So like I like to compete, and I'll compete when something is near.
In town, within 2 hours.
Within a couple hours.
Yeah.
But right now I'm not that person that's going to be traveling and competing and like, getting sponsorships and doing like crazy shit. I would like to get to there at some point, but I feel like at Blue Belt, I don't know if that really happens that much at Blue Belt anyways.
Right.
People don't really start taking, nobody cares about 3-stripe Blue Belts.
No one cares about 3-stripe Blue Belts. They don't matter.
3-stripe Blue Belts matter.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
But, that is something that I would like to do in the future if the opportunity would present itself. But I do have to perform well at these, regular local competitions. And I really do give it lots of effort and lots of training. It's forefront of my mind when I am training. Now, there's some days where I train pretty light and just, roll around with people, and I'm not going to try to kill people. But then there's other days where I'm drilling a specific technique and I'm working towards that position, and I'm working towards a specific submission and trying to get it at all costs, even when people know it's coming. Because as much as jiu-jitsu is, bait and switch, at some points, some people become so good at a technique that even when people know it's coming, they can't stop it. And I would like to get to that point in a few different things, like my butterfly guard, my loop chokes, back takes, things of that nature. I feel like I am known for it at the gym. And people are always like, oh, butterfly guard. The same way Brent is known for his tight control, his butterfly guard, stuff like that. I would like to...
His Brenton control.
His Brenton control, yeah. That's what I work towards because it works best for me. It works in competition, but I also don't want to be a one-trick pony. And when I do try that in competition and it gets stuffed, because inevitably that stuff does get stuffed. That's a different word. But inevitably.
That was weird.
When it does get stuffed, I want to have other options and break out and dovetail from my strength to options after that.
Yeah.
And that's really what I'm focusing on for this competition. And the other aspect I'm focusing on in my training, specifically now, going into technique week. That was weird. What was that?
That was weird. We just heard a noise.
I think it was the neighbors. In our thin walls.
Surprising.
But what I am doing coming close to competition week is I'm not trying to learn anything new. I'm trying to clean up things that I already know and work on the problems I had in my last competition, which was getting armbarred in someone's guard, breaking the closed guard. I got caught in underneath someone's mount, and I got caught in... I don't think I got caught in bottom side control, but I know that's one place that I never want to be stuck in a match. Because that's a terrible place to just be and to be fighting off your back from. So those three things specifically I've been working on to clean up and drill and get more familiar with it, because practice, obviously, because that's where I get stuck in competition.
Yeah. I would say that that's very important. Going back to you saying you're trying not to learn anything new. I know that we have a couple of our kids from our gym competing this week, and we were working with one of them, I think yesterday, and we were just like, we're not going to learn anything new today. You're going to drill your takedowns. I want you to be ready for competition. Or we're going to work on the position you get stuck in the most. We're not going to teach you this whole new sequence and this whole new technique just so you can try it out in competition to see if it works.
Next week, and then realize it didn't work for whatever reason.
And then you get submitted because it didn't work. And so it's very important, at least the first week leading up to competition, if not the 2 weeks beforehand, to just focus on where your strengths are and polishing them up.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be working on really your biggest weaknesses either. Like maybe the getting out of bottom side control or getting out of positions, but if you suck at Kimuras, don't practice a Kimura for 2 weeks before competition to try to land a Kimura. Like it's just that's not something you should be doing.
Right. Right. But on the flip side, at the highest level of competition, when you know who your opponents are and there's actually like footage of those matches, you can see what those people are good at. And then you can work to defend against those or how to reverse those things on those people. Yeah. You know, but that's a whole nother level, like I said. That's out of our pay grade.
Yeah, competition it's a whole different ball game out there. I mean, we have talked about this before where once you step on those mats, it is completely different than stepping on your own mats.
People trying to kill you.
Yeah. I mean,
you're gonna die.
The only way the whole match is gonna end is if you tap and if the ref catches it. Like, if you tap and the ref doesn't say to stop, they're not letting go.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen. So they're out for blood, you're out for blood, and you have to have that mindset, or you're probably just going to look weak out there. If you just go in there just slapping, bumping, and trying to play like you would in the gym, you're probably going to get smashed.
You're gonna get smashed.
Yeah.
And in the gym, you know, when you go for an arm bar or when you go for really any joint lock besides the choke, you slap it on like super nice and slow so that you don't hurt your training partners if they move the wrong way, or you're able to fix some of the minute adjustments, micro adjustments to make those joint locks work and squeeze it up. In competition, you're like yanking that shit.
Yeah.
And
but you want it. You want it so bad. And
you gotta set that shit in immediately.
The pressure of getting that, though, too. Like, I know where I struggled the most in January was I wasn't thinking in my head in the pressure of position over submission. I was submission is there. I'm going for it, but I didn't do the 5 details that you needed to do to get up to that submission. I was just like, oh, I have this arm. I want to go for an armbar. Why am I not armbarring her? So
yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
In competition, the mantra position over submission is like 10 times more important. First of all, you want to get your points for your position, and you want to hold it, and you want to secure that position, and then you want to work for whatever submission presents itself for you from there. Because, like she said, if you jump for a submission that you see a cue for, but you didn't set it up properly and you didn't give yourself that much time because your adrenaline's high, you are in the middle of a freaking timed match. You're tired.
You have people screaming at you from all different directions. Like, you have your coach in the chair, you have your friends and your family in the back, you have everyone, you have the ref just staring at you, telling you not to put your fingers in the gi. Like, it just, I mean, there's a lot going on in that moment. You really do have to pay attention to detail, and you can't get caught up in everything that's happening around you. You just have to focus on your position and work on getting there.
Yes.
And I will stress it again, position over submission. And even though I've been injured since then and I haven't been able to really train properly the way that I want to, that's all I've been focusing on is position. Okay, I'm here. How do I get there? Or I am in this position and I want to adjust so that I can get to a different position. How do I move like that? Like, it's just, that's all where my mind is going. And it's because of that last competition that I did that really made me realize it. And you can say it until you're blue in the face over and over and over. Like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to practice this and I'm going to train and I'm going to go at it this way. But, like, until you actually go out there and experience it and do it for yourself, you have no idea what to expect. Like, you can try to prepare for it as much as you want. And even Nick here doing probably 10 to 15 competitions under his belts.
I have like 70 matches I've done.
Yeah, but like, are you really honestly prepared for every single one that you go into, knowing exactly what's going to happen and who your opponent is and what they're going to do to you? And No,
definitely not.
You never know. And you could be facing the same person like that you did in the last competition, and they could be doing something completely different because just as your game is expanding, so is theirs.
Right.
So there's just a lot going into it that you really have to mentally prepare for, but there's nothing that you can really do to get you to really understand until you do it.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm getting those butterflies, thinking about it, because I get so excited and I get so hyped up for competition, and your heart starts racing and your blood starts pumping, and you feel alive. You feel almost a buzz in your body when you get ready to do it. And some people call that excitement. Some people call that anxiety. It's really...
I wonder who has what here.
It's the mental frame that you put on those physical cues into your body, on how you perceive it and how you experience it.
Yeah. So how would you rate your butterflies right now, leading up to the competition that's 6 days away?
5.
Yeah, out of 10.
Yeah, 5 out of 70. No. Yeah, 5 out of 10. I'm super excited. So
that's good. What are you most excited for? Like, what do you envision right
now? My
now?
favorite part of competition is, first of all, it's super fun to be able to test my skills against people that are my rank and are my weight. In the gym, you get training partners that can push you here and there, but they're not always just equal with you, where it's you guys are the same. Now execute your technique.
Right. Like you were the same in just about every level except for the gym that you train at. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like you're the same weight, you're the same belt. I mean, maybe a stripe or two difference here and there, but besides that.
But you're as close as you can get.
Yeah, you're as evenly matched as you can possibly get, probably within your boundary line of your state and county. Yeah,
and I'd say as you go up in belts, the evenness gets a little bit different as far as technique and skill. But yeah, it's still as close as you can get. And that's why we have belts and ranks and accolades under our belt, is to prove this is where we are in our game. But yeah, I'm super excited to be able to test that. I'm super excited to be able to test myself mentally and physically, because I love tests. I like to push myself just in general, as you might know.
Yeah.
She said I need to take a break, and I say, what the heck does that mean? But yeah, it's super exciting for me.
But it's always funny with him when he competes, because he's competed a lot, and I've only done it twice, and I am not a good, I'm not even going to say good competitor, because I'm pretty decent on the mats, but getting up to the mats, it's not very good.
It's difficult for her. Like right now, she would have a stomach ache thinking about competition next week.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't eat for the next couple days, to be honest. Like I would have a couple munches of celery here and there, but
some cookies.
Yeah, some cookies and maybe a couple bites of dinner. Like I don't lead up to
munches of celery.
Munches of celery. Don't
Is
even.
Is that how you
judge.
Eat celery? You munch it. You go.
Yeah, pretty much. That's more than you do. You don't even eat celery.
No, I would just eat the peanut butter.
I mean, celery really is just a spoon for peanut butter, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it was only invented for that reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mother Nature invented celery to scoop peanut butter.
Yep, which is also organic.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, but no, so Nick he says that he has butterflies now, and he's at about a 5 out of 10 right now, and it's still 6 days away. But he's fine. He's just kind of living life and eating normal and training normal and doing everything.
Like, yeah, next weekend. I can't wait.
Yeah. And then, he tells people, I'm competing next weekend. And I'm like, wow, that's really fast. And he's like, yeah, it's next weekend. Whereas me, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm competing next weekend. I don't know what to do. Like, I need to start freaking out now.
Don't touch me. You're going to injure me.
But I know that as soon as we get there, he is going to feel exhilarated and he's going to have the adrenaline dump, basically right when we get there. He's going to weigh in. We're going to go eat breakfast. And then we're going to come back and he's going to be like, all right, where am I going? Let's go. Yeah. So, and then he can get injured if he
oh my God.
can not try.
What?
I don't know. That did not come out right. But
you tell me if I'm not careful, I'm going to get injured?
No, I was trying to say that even if you get injured, the adrenaline is so high that you probably wouldn't even notice that you're injured until later.
Yeah, last time competition.
That's where I was trying to go with that. It didn't work out that way.
Yeah, last time in competition I was injured, and I'm still carrying a little bit of that into the match this time. But
that was in December?
I think so, yeah, December.
Yeah.
And I was doing really well in the competition, and what had happened was was doing great in a bunch of matches. That was redundant. But I got comfortable by doing well in the matches. And I got too comfortable in competition. And I got caught in an armbar from guard, which is a huge lesson for me that I'm bringing into this next competition. Mm-hmm. I cannot get comfortable in any way, shape, or form while I'm competing. And I'd say this is not the first time that I felt comfortable in competition, especially at the end of my white belt competitions when things got... Most of those last matches as white belt, we're going to say, were not very difficult. And I was just practicing my jiu-jitsu in a competition place and getting medals for it. But I learned last competition that, especially with blue belts and anybody that's has any jiu-jitsu experience, anytime you get comfortable in a jiu-jitsu match, you're probably going to lose. Mm-hmm. That is not a place for any sense of comfortableness until the ref says it's over. And I left my arm out just a little bit too much because it was a guard pass that I always do. And
well, you were setting it up.
What, the guard pass? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an over-under guard pass.
It's not like you were just like, in a competition, here's my arm. Like, you were setting something up
exactly.
For yourself.
But like I said, I got too comfortable with it.
Right.
Because normally, it's easy for me to just, put this out, grab this arm, and then bring my elbow in. But I got too comfortable by scooping up the leg, and then he turned over and armbarred my arm immediately, and then I was like, shit. And then, I think I talked about it last time, but I had...
heard a pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, I had the mental decision, do I let him break my arm, or do I try to fight out of this? And I was like, okay, I can tap. And now I'm still paying for it.
But wasn't your elbow actually hurting before that match too? Like, wasn't there some underlying issue that we didn't really address too deeply, and then that match is kind of what threw over the edge?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure it was hurting before that.
I don't remember at all.
I'm pretty sure.
I have zero memory.
I don't remember what happened to you, but I'm pretty sure your elbow was kind of bothering you before that competition, and then you ended up like letting it get armbarred, and then it was just done. Like, you were just done after that. But I don't think it was from that match. I think it actually... It
was from that match because it popped and tore.
The pain now, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I think there was something going on before that.
I don't know. But moral of the story is never get comfortable. Because...
Always have your awareness up.
And always use your tightest technique for everything that you're working.
Yeah. And set up your positions. That's my biggest lesson that I learned. And not to put your fingers in the Ghee. But...
I'd say it's the other spectrum of when people are drowning, they're down by points, and they're on the bottom, or they're trying to win a match by submission or come back. They make mistakes because they're wildly trying to win, because they know they have to do something to get their points or submit to win. And it was the other way around for me. I was up on points, and I was in the top position, and I was passing his guard. And I felt like comfortable because of where I was in the match already, and that's where I got caught. Yep. So I will not let that happen. Yep. This competition, I guarantee you, it's just not going to happen.
But you live and you learn, and I think that's why everyone should compete at least once in their jiu-jitsu career, preferably as a white belt.
Yeah, I think that everybody should compete once, and it is easier to compete as a white belt than it is as a blue belt.
Just so many more people as a white belt.
Yeah,
like
more
the brackets
looks.
Are ginormous when you're a white belt, and then as you start ranking up a little bit, it starts getting a little bit tighter, a little bit smaller, more confined, or you start facing the same people and all that. But I know that our friend Miguel from the gym, he just got his purple belt within the last couple months, and he also competed in January. Competed in January for the first time as a purple belt. Mm-hmm. And the last time he competed, he was a blue belt, and he had a lot of people in his brackets because there's a lot of blue belts in the world still, but there's not as many purple belts as there are blue belts.
Yeah.
And so the last time he went, I think he had like 5 different matches, but this time he only had 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of gets smaller and smaller every single time, and then eventually, if you get to the point where you're like brown belt or even black belt, you might just have one. Yeah. And you face them in Ghee, and then you face the same person in no Ghee. Like, that's just what happens. So compete as a white belt, and then you'll get lots of experience. You'll figure out what works and what doesn't, who has different moves that you can't do, or different moves that work really well on other people. And
but outside of jiu-jitsu, like the techniques and the lessons that you learn from competition, why do you think somebody who is maybe opposed to competing should step out and compete once?
I think that anyone who... Okay, that's kind of a weird question. I get what you're saying, but I know people who do jujitsu and don't ever care to compete. And then if I try to say, I think you should do it, just get out of your comfort zone, you'll learn a lot. And then their response can be, well, I don't really care that much. I just do this for fun. Like, I don't do this to compete. I don't do this for any really competition, competitive level type training. I really just do it to not be on my couch type thing.
Sure.
And those are the kinds of people that I guess, like, if you really don't ever see yourself competing, I guess you don't need to, but I would still suggest just thinking about it, because then not only will you grow in the gym, but you'll get so much experience and so much, I don't know how to word it. Like,
yeah, I have an answer for it.
It's hard to tell people who don't want to compete. Like, I've been working on Gustavo for a little bit, for a couple weeks now, and I know he doesn't watch this, so this is why I can say this, but I've been trying to get him to compete for months, because he's a one-stripe white belt. He's very good. He's good for his rank, and he, I think, would do really well in a competition, but he just doesn't want to, because this is just a hobby for him. He doesn't really care to compete, and he just doesn't think that he would do well enough. He doesn't think it's worth it. He doesn't want to pay the money, like all this stuff. And I've been trying. Like, Gustavo, you should do it now. Like, you should do it while you can, and while there's so many people in your brackets, and you might as well just do it once and get it over with. But he just doesn't want to. So I guess it's hard for me to try to convince someone outside of me to do it.
You know what I would say? Any idea? No.
Some life coaching crap.
Yeah, some bullshit, right? I would say that competition is another level of jiu-jitsu that allows you to experience what it would be like if you were actually in a real-life situation where you had to defend yourself, or if somebody were attacking you, or if you had to use your jiu-jitsu skill under 100% utility at one point in your life. So what I mean by that is, in the gym, you are all drilling and you're all up front. Some gyms have this mentality where they go 100% all the time. And in those gyms, okay, you probably will feel it, but if you're a hobbyist, you're not going to go to those gyms anyways, because it's a different kind of gym. But if you are a hobbyist and you've thought about, you've seen a post about a competition, you're just like, no, it's never, nah. Once you learn a little bit of technique, if you're a 1 or 2 stripe, 3 stripe white belt, and you have not competed, I would suggest going out on the competition mats and subjecting yourself to what it feels like when somebody's actually trying to kill you, and see how your jiu-jitsu or your body holds up, just as a test for you, your mental body, and your physical body.
Okay, kind of adding to that, because I think that's a really good response, where you guys could definitely tell that I was having struggles with it, because I don't want to force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. That's kind of where my head was at, whereas right. I still would encourage you to do it, but I wouldn't force you to do it type thing. But kind of going off of that is, when you are, God forbid, put in a terrible situation, you're in a street fight, you're in a bar fight, something's happening where you need to end up using your jiu-jitsu to defend yourself, I think competing at a white belt level would be very beneficial to help you understand where you're at and how you would respond in that type of scenario. Just because if you think about the world and the population, only 1% or less of the world does jiu-jitsu. 1%. And of that 1%, I think less than 10% compete. So
I say less than that.
I mean, Mike says that it's 1%.
1% of 1%. 1%
of 1% compete. So think about that. If you were to get put into a bar fight,
or a life or death situation,
and someone came at you, more than likely there's a 99% chance that person is not trained in jiu-jitsu.
Right. Which
means that you have that 1% or a 99% chance of using your jiu-jitsu to defend yourself and being better than that person. So when you go against another person who is part of the 1% population who does jiu-jitsu, then you can see how it matches up. And would you be able to defend yourself against someone who does do jiu-jitsu? And if you can, you're probably going to be pretty well off in a life or death situation.
Right. But that pressure, you're not going to feel that pressure of if I lose, I die type of pressure. And obviously, no, you're not going to die in competition. So, I'm not taking away from any life or death situation outside of the gym, outside of competition. I'm sure that has a level of magnitude that I know that I haven't experienced it personally. And if you have experienced it personally, add into the comments if you've competed and have had to use your jiu-jitsu for any reason outside of the gym for something that was very unfortunate to you. I'd encourage you to share if you're willing to do that in the comments, because that would be enlightening for all of us to hear. Mm-hmm. But it's as close as you can get. I don't know any other feeling unless you tell the people in your gym, try to kill me, don't let me tap. I don't know how much closer you can get to training for a real life scenario. Yeah. And as a white belt, like she said, most of the people in the world that if you ever get into an altercation with and have to use your jiu-jitsu, they are untrained and are going to act like white belt. Because white belts don't know jiu-jitsu. Nope. Just kidding. They have a good base. But there's a huge difference if a brown belt were to attack you versus, that's just not going to happen.
And that's why there's ranks in competition. They would never put me against a 4-stripe purple belt in a competition. It just would never happen.
Right. Actually, there's a story from one of my friends. He told me that one time he got in a bar fight, and he was, I think, a purple brown belt at the time. He's a black belt now. But he told me that he got in a bar fight, and him and this other guy squared up, and the guy took him down like a wrestler shot, and then my buddy was using his jiu-jitsu to keep him at bay, and then halfway through, they both realized we are both trained fighters. And they were like, okay. They head nodded at each other in the street in the middle of the bar fight, and then went to go break up the fight with the rest of their friends. They stopped fighting. They had a gentleman's agreement, if this would have happened, we'd probably be friends. Okay, let's go. Let's go break up this fight now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, which is, a super unlikely occurrence that you might get into a fight with somebody else that is trained.
Yeah. Well, that's over 1%.
Yeah, but if you do get in a fight, people are going to fight you untrained.
As a white belt. First day white belt.
Yes, and if you, no offense to first day white belts, but if you rolled with a first day white belt, even if you're a stripe above them, you're whoa. Yeah. This is not jiu-jitsu, buddy.
No. And that's
what are you doing?
I actually really like working with the brand new white belts. I can't right now with my chest, but I really did enjoy it because I told myself, I was like, well, if I'm under this 280-pound man and I can't figure out a way to get out, I would die in a real fight. If some guy was attacking me and they had double my weight on me, I would probably not survive if I didn't know jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So somebody was 300 pounds.
Yeah. Just trying to, I don't even want to think about it. But basically, I just know that I have a good enough foundation that if I was ever in that situation, I'd probably have a good chance of getting out.
Yeah. So. Absolutely. And that's one of the best parts about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Is that confidence.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why I love that my wife does it.
Especially for females.
Yep.
So it's great. But, okay, so competition is in 6 days. So how have we, besides dieting, how have we been preparing for it?
Training.
By the way, I'm not competing. For those of you who are like, you have a hurt chest, why are you saying we? I'm not competing. He's competing. But I am his support system, and I'm also the chef. So I have to be the one to help him be on a good diet, or he would just eat ramen noodles all the time. So
they're so good.
Yeah. By the way, for those who are interested, I know I've talked to a couple of you at the gym, but I'm thinking about starting a food blog here soon, where I'm going to start posting about all the food that I create. Probably not a step-by-step process, because that's going to be way too long, but I'll post the finished product. And if anyone is interested, if anyone's interested in what we eat for just either competition diet or just in general, because even when we're not on competition diet, we still eat pretty healthy. We don't really have creamy stuff. We don't have cheesy things. It helps that we're lactose intolerant.
I have an idea to talk to you about after this.
Okay. But yeah, if anyone's interested in knowing what we do to prepare and get our bodies ready with food as fuel, let me know. That's probably what I'll call it, actually, is food as fuel. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Food is fuel.
Food is fuel. I like it.
Ding.
All right. Thanks, Kayla, for that. I saw it on her story. She's like, food is fuel. I'm like, that's a great blog title. So, anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so we've been preparing for competition with our diet.
Yeah, diet's huge because, I mean, I got to make weight. And I want to be healthy doing it.
But weight's not even most of it. Like, you want to feel good. Cause,
yes.
I mean, think about the stuff that you put into your body. How do you feel when you have an ice cream sundae from Culver's or Oscar's?
Or Buffalo Wild Wings.
Versus.
Okay, side note, there was one time that I went to Buffalo Wild Wings for lunch. And this is a side note, and then you can finish. So I went to Buffalo Wild Wings for lunch. I had like 20 wings. And then that night I went to train Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu. And I will tell you, I felt like shit. I was rolling and I was like, oh my God, this is awful. I'm never doing this again.
But think about how you personally feel. Not your taste buds, not your satisfaction, but like how your body moves and how your brain is processing things versus when you have a sundae or Buffalo Wild Wings, 20 wings of Buffalo Wild Wings, versus when you just have like a salad or a sandwich or like maybe chicken noodle soup or something.
And some peanuts.
Or celery and peanut butter or anything along the healthy side versus the unhealthy side. Just think about the balance that you have and how much more energized you feel depending on what you eat. So when we say competition diet, I don't mean like we're literally eating lettuce 24/7. I mean like I have a very balanced meal on my plate every single night. I have a veggie, typically a green veggie. I have a protein, chicken, steak, pork, something, and then I have a healthy carb, quinoa, couscous, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. We're not eating mac and cheese every night. Or
I'd say my wife is a self-taught beginner nutritionist. Here she is.
Yeah.
In all of her glory.
But I came up with this entire list of ideas that we could make because I felt like every time we were on competition diet, I was making the same like 5 meals every single week. I was like, oh, we're having sushi bowls this week, and then we're having zucchini boats, and then we're having this, and they're good meals, but I was like, I need more. So I think about 3 months ago, I came up with this giant long list of just everything that I could eat that would fuel my body with energy.
Do you want to tell them what I used to eat before I met you? Do you remember?
Chicken patties.
Yep.
Tyson chicken patties, or no, not even.
Banquet or Tyson?
Banquet. Yep, because I remember I had to buy them for you when you were living at my house.
That you wouldn't let me move into?
That's a different story. Yeah, chicken patties and like what, mac and cheese?
Yeah, basically like mac and cheese, garlic and olive oil noodles.
Yep.
And sometimes I would make some like turkey sandwiches.
I have changed his life.
But yeah, ramen noodles, chicken patties. Like I would make every night before I met Brittany, before I did jiu-jitsu, my diet was I would go to work like 12 to 10. I would go to the gym from like 10:30 to like 1 in the morning. I would lift. And then I'd come home, I'd make like 3 chicken patties in the oven and play video games. It was fantastic.
Single life.
Yeah, and that was like rinse repeat. It's great.
And then I grew up with, both of my parents are very skilled cooks, I would say. And my mom was
and also at work, I would just eat chicken nuggets and pizza. Because it's a pizza buffet.
Yeah. But my mom, I would say, she always worked in a restaurant. She was never in the kitchen, but she was always the GM and the server her entire life. And so she was always, when she cooked for us, which was just about every night, she'd be in the kitchen for 5 hours at a time, just making these extravagant meals. And
that's too much
I
time.
don't know where she found the time to do that, but
she
did it all the time. And so I just grew up with these really delicious, fantastic meals. We never ate out of a box. Stick of butter a day. Yeah. But we never ate out of a box. Like sometimes we'd have mac and cheese for lunch or something, but that was it. We always had a protein, a veggie, and a starch on our plate every single night. And my dad is roughly the same way. He likes to make broccoli and steak and like a potato or something. And I just was accustomed to that lifestyle that I kind of took it over when I moved on my own, where I was like, I don't want to just eat out of a box and frozen meals all the time. And I mean, sometimes it's nice when you don't feel like cooking for an hour, but just the way that I feel after making the food that I do, I've really brought it into our lifestyle as a married couple, and I've now changed his diet, and I feel like that has helped you with your training significantly too.
Oh yeah, that food, that fuel that I've been putting into my body has fueled me to great heights.
Yeah. That sounds so sarcastic.
I'm serious though. I know that it's much better than chicken patties, ramen noodles.
And then, like, there are so many times, too, that I would just fall back on, like, oh, I'm going to make zucchini tonight as the veggie. But then I was like, well, we had zucchini, like, 4 times this week. Okay, I'll make broccoli. Well, what other veggie can I make? So now I've come up with, like, actual meal plans where I have a ton of different types of proteins with different types of mixtures and fixings and all of that stuff, so it's not just chicken and sauce or steak and broccoli or something. Like, I've come up with all of these crazy ideas where I can now make a full meal, full plate, but it's not the same thing every single time. And then I've come up with like Power Bowl ideas, and I've come up with wrap ideas, and I try to make different smoothies all the time. Pineapple and kiwi in a smoothie, by the way, has been like a life changer for me. That's all I've been drinking for a month. Like, it's fantastic.
That's good stuff.
So if anyone has any questions or wants to get ready about competition diet, talk to me. Let me know, because I'm probably the best one, at least at Fluid, to talk to you about it. Because I do it all the time. So, but yeah, so diet's a big thing. Another thing to get prepared is definitely train super hard up until about 2 weeks beforehand.
Yeah, you want to get that feeling again of like complete aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Because you need to bring that to the mat. You can't just be docile on a competition mat, like, oh, what's happening? Oh, okay, I'll just do this week.
Yeah. Well, going back to Gustavo, I know like a month ago he was still debating on competing next weekend, and he was like, yeah, I haven't decided yet. I'm like, well, you need to decide, like, right now. Like, we're going to decide at this table if you're going to do it or not. Because if you are, you are not training enough. And he was just like, yeah, I know I'm not training enough. I need to start coming on Fridays so I can start training more. I'm like, bro, like, at this point, I was trying to get you to compete, but if you're still thinking about it 4 weeks out, I'm not going to, like, even tell you should anymore. Because you haven't been training enough. So, if you're thinking about competing, start training early. And by early, I mean, like, 3 months ahead of time. Yeah. And that way you can get your techniques down, you can get your sequence down, you can figure out what you're good at, what you're not good at, what you need to work on, what you don't need to work on. Like, if you're fantastic at getting out of side control, stop working on it, work on something else. Like, if you know how to get out of every person's side control in your gym, why are you working on that still? Like, go do something else. So start training early on, and then, like we said, about a week or 2 up to the actual day is when you need to start chilling out a little bit, taking a little bit more care of your body.
Yeah, this week I'm not rolling more than 20%, and I'll just be doing drills from a few different positions.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you should be taking, like, the entire week off. I do know Miguel likes to do that up to the competition, where he just likes to not train at all for the full week just to give his body a complete rest.
Get his mind right.
Yeah, that may work for some people.
Yeah.
That's not typically how he likes to do it.
No, I don't like to do that.
So, I guess you just have to find your balance to do that. Like, we're not going to tell you one way is better than the other, because it really is up to you and up to your body, but I would definitely suggest train hard, train often, and then give yourself that little bit of mental break and physical break right beforehand.
Yes. Yeah, and then don't try to lose like 10 pounds the week of.
No, Dave.
That's not good for your mind and your body, because first of all, your body's going to be drained, and secondly, your mind is focused on losing the weight instead of focused on getting ready for competition. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would say that my body has been cold because I lost all my fat. That's another unintended side effect. I gotta wear more clothes. This is bogus.
Yeah, but yeah, leading up to competition, it's a real thing. It's not something that you can just wake up and be like, I'm gonna compete tomorrow.
Dave's thinking about doing that Saturday.
What? Dave, you're an idiot.
He says, if I'm around weight,
no,
I might just show up.
No, Dave. You are broken right now. You shouldn't have been even thinking about competing 3 weeks ago when you were thinking about it. It's Easter the next day. I can't compete. Dave, no. I'm telling you no.
I can't wait. We will, I think my plan is to record a podcast right at home next week. Okay. But yeah, we'll let you know. Hopefully I'll bring back some medals next week.
Or from the hotel room that
I'm getting freaking pumped. I can't wait.
If he wins medals, guys, he's going to wear them. Just so you know. Just be prepared. He's very cocky when he wins. But honestly, I think that kind of, we can talk about that more next week, I think. But if you do win, you should be proud of that.
You should be proud.
Honestly, you should gloat a little bit. You should wear your medals around for a little bit, for a couple hours or something. And
I wear them home when I drive.
Yeah. Like, you did that. No one else did that for you. You
right.
went out
you
there
put in the work.
and you did it.
Yeah.
So if you win, be proud of it.
Yeah, I would say the other thing about being comfortable, going back to that a little bit, the one thing I didn't add is don't expect to win. That's the other issue I had of being comfortable.
That was a big thing I wanted to talk about on this podcast, actually.
Yeah, because some competitions I've gone into it expecting to win, and getting second place does not mean you're winning, and then you fall short of your expectations. Mm-hmm. What happens when you fall short of your expectations? You feel like shit, even though you got second place out of a 10-man division.
Well, you feel like you disappoint so many people because they all expected you to win because you expected to win. So, kind of going off of that, that was a huge, huge note that I wanted to bring up in this, and I am going to look directly at any of you listening to this, especially from Fluid. So, everyone knows that Nick and I train a ton. We are constantly on the mats. He definitely even trains way more than I do. And we are there all the time. And I would say that we're pretty decent jiu-jitsu practitioners for our rank. And I remember for the last competition in January, I don't even know how many people. They all kept coming up to me and telling me, you're going to win. You are so good. You are better than all the other white belts. You're going to go out there and smoke it, or you're going to do it. And I'm just like, don't tell me that. Like, I hate being told you're going to win. Because what happens if you don't win? Everyone just kind of looks at you like, well, damn, I thought you were going to win.
Yeah, you did good.
Yeah, like, or then they just start pitying you. And they're like, it's okay, you really tried. Like, no, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear it. You told me I was going to win, and then I got my head that I was going to win, and then I lost. I didn't lose any of them last time.
Oh. Look at her preaching over here.
But, no, that was
She's still the only undefeated no-gi grappler I know. Undefeated.
Me too.
And no losses.
Stop it.
And
it's this. This is what I'm talking about. So the next time that I compete,
okay, I'm giving you shit.
And then if I do no gi, he's gonna be like, "You're the only undefeated no gi grappler that I know. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna win."
No. I'm gonna say that afterwards because you're gonna continue to win.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying, like, as a previous competitor, I would highly suggest just don't tell people who are looking to compete or are signed up to compete. Don't tell them they're going to win. I would say it's one of my biggest pet peeves.
I would say don't tell them they're going to win, but I would say root for them and build their confidence. Like, you are doing great.
Yes, absolutely.
Your technique is awesome here. I can't wait to see what comes out of this.
Yep.
But not, you're going to fucking smash them. You're going to win.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level of expectation building.
Yeah.
That we can take away out of that complimentary confidence building.
Yep. And I even remember after my third match, I had 4 matches, and after my third match, I felt like I was going to throw up, and I still wasn't feeling good because of all the anxiety that I had, and I was like, I don't know if I can do my 4th one. Like, I still feel like crap. I don't know if I can handle it. And I was told, like, you're still gonna win. And I'm like, they're like, you just won the last 3.
Not by me.
And honestly, that's probably why I got hurt, because I got hurt on my 4th one, and I think I got too comfortable. Because I was like, well, I'm probably going to win.
Exactly.
And then now I'm injured. Because...
Yes.
Yep. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm going to get upset.
Now she just realized it.
I did. You guys probably just saw the light bulb in my head. But yeah, I went out there in my 4th match because I was told I was going to win. And I went out there and I was like, you're right. I won my last 3. Probably going to win this one. And I saw her and she was like, I think a 2-stroke wipeout. I'm like, I got 6 months on her. At least, if not more. I'm going to win. And then I went out there, got comfortable, and got injured. Still won, but got injured.
Yeah.
So, don't be cocky.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thing, but also
unless you're Gordon Ryan, then you just like say, hey, I'm going to win by triangle, and then you just triangle him like you said. That happened this weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
Good for him.
But no, I just did want to specify and emphasize on that. Like, just be there for your teammates and people, but don't expect anything out of them.
Yeah, don't push expectations on people, and compliment them by building confidence. But like I said, don't place an expectation on people.
Because then they really do feel like crap if they can't live up to your expectations that you see them in. Like, especially if you are someone who's a really big influence in their life. And
that's a lesson for life, not just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
When you place expectations, like if you have a daughter that's 5 and you say you're going to be a doctor, they have a freaking identity crisis when they're 25 and they're like, I don't want to be a doctor.
Yep. Exactly.
That's a problem.
Yeah. And And then it was also like so much more pressure for me because he wasn't competing and he normally does. And then my dad is the professor and he's my dad and he was my coach. And I was
She was carrying our name on the mats.
Oh my gosh, I have to win. Like if I don't win, everyone's going to think I'm just a failure. Like it was just that mentality. And even if that's not, because more than likely the people who say you're going to win, they're not trying to say it to be malicious or anything. They are trying to like boost you up and say, you're so good, you're going to win. But like, just don't do that. I would just highly suggest don't do that.
Yeah, what I would say to somebody that I know is doing well and that they're going out and competing, like a couple of my friends that are going to be competing with me, I say to them, you're doing freaking awesome. Let's go put in the work into the mats.
Mm-hmm. But I remember before I competed, I used to tell him that. I'd be like, you're really good. You smash everyone. Like, how are you not going to win? Like, it would be ridiculous if you didn't win. And I always put that pressure on him, too, without even realizing it. But really, what I was doing was I was saying, I know you're good. Like, I know you're better than these people. And so, like, why wouldn't I expect you to win? I was trying to boost him up when really I realized after doing it myself that I wasn't boosting him up. I was putting pressure on him.
Yeah, and I think last competition, it built up at its highest level and allowed me to get injured and to lose.
Yep.
Yeah, I lost 2 matches last competition. I went 3-2, and that's probably my worst record out of any competition ever.
Yep. Don't get comfortable.
Don't get comfortable.
Maybe that's the title of this one.
I think
so. Comfortable. But yeah, competition. So
yes.
If you guys are thinking about competing, do it.
Do it.
And there's just know that you can't just wake up and do it, Dave.
Yeah, you can.
But there's a lot that goes into it. Just prepare. Talk to people. Talk to your coach. Talk to your teammates. Train properly. Eat properly. Just get ready for it. Don't just think that you're so good in your gym that you are unbeatable.
Yeah, it's a fun experience. It's a good life lesson. Just getting out there and competing.
Makes you very humble.
Yep. And if you're used to team sports, jiu-jitsu is totally different because it's one-on-one.
Yep.
It's you versus that person.
Yep.
It's technique versus technique, unless you're in absolute ranks. Then it's a little bit different. But yeah, it's great. I highly encourage everybody to try it at least once.
Yeah. So next week when we talk to you, we will be talking about how his matches went, because it should be the day after. We normally do these on Sundays, and his competition's on Saturday, the 3rd, April 3rd.
Yeah.
So, like you said, we'll probably either do this on our way home in the car, or maybe from our hotel room the night of, if we're feeling up to it, and post it on Sunday. So, we'll see.
We will see. But I'm super excited. Thanks so much for watching. Hit subscribe on our channel. Follow. Leave us a review if you're on a podcast site. That really helps out our podcast. And share us with your friends who might have thought about competing or like to compete.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you guys watching.
And stay tuned for all of our upcoming stuff. We have some fun topics we want to talk about. Gonna bring lots of guests on in the next couple episodes.
All right. Well, have a great day.
Bye, guys.